Welcome, everyone. This is the first episode of the 7th season of Bate, Papo sobre Composição, Talks on Composition. This series is an outreach project of the Composition Department of the School of Music at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, created to engage musicians in dialogue on issues related to the world of musical composition. The project seeks to foster conversation with musicians from a variety of backgrounds, including concert music, jazz, and Brazilian popular music with no aesthetic restrictions. The videos from the 6 previous years of the series, from 2020 to 2025, as well as those from the 7th season, are available on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and activate notifications to stay informed about upcoming episodes. Programs from 2023 onward are also available in podcast format on Spotify, Apple Music, and other platforms. The team behind this project consists of myself, Liduino Pitombeira, Professor Jan Wagner, and the composer and outreach fellow Italo Spinelli. And today we have the honor of welcome the composer LINA TONIA to speak about her musical work and her perspectives in the field of musical composition. Welcome, LINA.
Welcome, Lina.
Hello. I would like to thank you for inviting me to this interview. It is a great honor to be here with you and to be hosted through this creative conversation at the University of Rio de Janeiro.
Thank you very much, Lina, to give us the opportunity to talk to you. So, as usual, I will start the chat first, like reading your bio, and then I will ask like the very first question. So, LINA TONIA is a Greek composer with an international career in contemporary music composition, recognized for innovative works combining acoustic instruments, interdisciplinary arts, and scientific research. Her signature lies in uniting art and science, particularly through projects exploring astronomical and NASA spacecraft data. Her work list includes more than 150 compositions that have been performed worldwide and awarded in numerous international composition competitions. Her music has been commissioned and performed by many ensembles and orchestras. Here I'm going to cite just a few, like Arditti Quartet, the London Contemporary Orchestra, the Edinburgh Quartet, the Radio France Philharmonic Orchestra, the University of Delaware Symphony Orchestra, the State Orchestra of Thessaloniki, and broadcasted on BBC Radio 3. She has been teaching composition at the Department of Music, Art, and Science at the University of Macedonia in Thessaloniki since September of 2016. So, welcome again, Lina. And to start our conversation, I would like to ask you to talk a little bit about your career as a composer, like from your initial training onward. You can highlight events, composers, teachers, and experience that you consider fundamental to the development of your compositional voice. Feel free.
I remember that from a very young age, I had already chosen composition as the one path in life that was calling me to follow it. My first contact with composition came early in my childhood, but my first encounter with atonal music took place later during my studies at Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. From the very beginning of my studies, I was deeply devoted to composition, and what fascinated me was the possibility of discovering myself through new sounds. From the outset, I was never interested in imitating the style of composers I admired, even though I deeply loved the music of Ligeti, Takemitsu, Sariaho. What I truly wanted was to find my own voice. My engagement with composition was daily because I felt it as an inner necessity to write. I never saw it as a formal process or simply as a requirement to complete my studies. For me, composition was and still is something as vital as breathing itself. About my studies, I began my composition studies at Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, where I became the first woman composer to graduate from composition department at Greek University. After completed my studies there, I continued my doctoral studies at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. There I came into contact with contemporary opera composition there, and my major project was my opera Alma, based on the life of Alma Mahler. I fell in love with everything related to opera composition and contemporary music theater, and this proved me to be a decisive turning point in my artistic development. After Alma, I went on to compose 4 more operas, as well as large-scale works involving actors and narrators. And also during my years in Edinburgh, I studied the works of other composers on a daily basis, analyzing scores in depth. And through this process, I discovered the music of Michel Zarel. So after completing my studies there, I knew that I wanted to study composition with him. So that's why I went on to pursue postgraduate studies in Vienna University with Michel Zarel. I consider this to have been the most decisive point in my education because it gave me the freedom of thought I had been searching for. It was then that I began to explore timbre as a central element of my music language. I developed a new approach to composition in which the treatment of timbre through contemporary techniques and the way these techniques are annotated became fundamental aspects of my thinking. I had always been searching for my own voice, but I believe truly shaped it during my studies with Michel Zarel. I should also mention that throughout all my years of study, I constantly sought opportunities beyond the university environment, especially through international activities, composition workshop and academies. I had the chance to work with ensembles such as the London Contemporary Orchestra and come into contact with outstanding musicians such as Marcus Weiss. And these experiences continuously expanding my knowledge, enrich my perspective, and helped me mature artistically. I believe it extremely important for a young composer not to rely only on the knowledge offered within the university setting. My participating in international activities like workshops and seminars around the world gave me a richness of experience that no single academic curriculum could ever fully contain. I tried to offer myself as many tools and as much knowledge as possible from every possible direction in order to ultimately come to know myself and discover my own voice within the creative world. And I believe that the most important achievement for a composer is to create their own artistic identity.
And just before Liduino asked the other question, just to understand a little bit, when do you consider that you achieved something that you consider for yourself, like that you start to realize what your composition voice is about? When did it start?
I think the most important step was when I started to study with Michel Zarel, because he gave me the freedom that I searched for. I would like to explore a new world based on timbre, on music colors, and it was for me, I think, the most important path on my journey in composition.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Lina. I have a question now about research. I know I had the opportunity to attend a concert with your music, and you can see there is a lot of research involved there, especially in timbre. So, how important is research to your compositional output, and how do you start a new piece? What kind of research I usually do? How is your compositional process? So, if you can talk about this thing.
Thank you. Research is deeply connected to my compositional work. I would not say it is simply important for me. It is essential to the act of composing. First of all, research begins with the analysis of other composers' works. Through analysis, we gain insight into compositional techniques, instrumental possibilities, the treatment of timbre, and the role of notation in shaping or even limiting a musical idea. In this sense, analysis is a fundamental stage of research for any composer, because it depends theoretically understanding and expands creative awareness. At the same time, I have always been fascinated by numbers and science, and I'm especially drawn to interdisciplinary fields such as mathematics, Fibonacci numbers, geometry, astrophysics. For me, research is therefore not only a way of gaining knowledge, but also a way of expanding the imagination. So it is very important to know about the colors that I would like to create when I begin to compose a piece. Always I have the central idea of my piece, what I would like to explore on this idea. It is very important to listen to my colors and my music inside me, and then to give the music through the notation on the paper. So the instrumental techniques, the extended instrumental techniques, it is something very important as a compositional tool for me in order to express my idea.
Lina, I got like very very interested about the theme of your last postdoctoral research that I read here, that was an analysis of space sounds from Earth, Saturn, and Jupiter, and it got me like, what? and I got like very interested in hearing from you what actual data did you get in this research, and what kind of music you started to be able to do after that.
The aim was to explore the relationship between sound produced by natural sources like space, such as planets, and sound shaped, from the other hand, sound shaped by a composer. Through this work, these unknown maps of space were translated into musical pitches on the staff, revealing elements such as pitch structures, moving clusters, micro and macrostructural relationships, and even spiral forms in sound. For example, I analyzed material recorded by the Van Allen probes, which captured electromagnetic waves in the radiation belts surround the Earth. And after identifying the frequencies and transcribing them into musical pitches, I examined the relationships between them and found that the sound revealed a spiral form as well as symmetrical structures connected to the spiral form, to golden ratio, to Fibonacci numbers. For me, this points to the morphology of what we might call the music of the cosmos.
Great, thank you. Could you talk us how important is teaching now in your compositional practice? How do these two areas interact, like as being a professor and a composer?
Yes. I love teaching, and I consider it is a very important part of my artistic life because it allows me to share my knowledge and experience with young composers. In this way, I can guide them through the complex and often labyrinth world of contemporary music, help create motivation for their development and encourage their creativity. This whole process also has a very positive effect on me because it keeps me equally motivated to continue creating. I cannot explain it completely, but teaching inspires me and gives me additional energy to continue my own compositional work. The relationship between these two fields is therefore very dynamic. In fact, I will confess something quite curious. When I look at my students' works, I often find that ideas come to me with incredible speed. And I very often have many more ideas to suggest to them for their pieces than I do when I'm studying in front of my own works. This has made me realize that teaching does not function separately from composition. On the contrary, it feeds it. Teaching constantly inspires me to give even more to the field of composition, and that's why I love it.
Nice. So when we search your website, we can see that you have a lot of compositional prizes and many publications. So you are a composer who has received a significant number of important awards and also publications. Could you speak a little bit about these two dimensions, composition competitions and participation in the publishing markets? And what advice would you give to composers, especially young composers, who wish to prepare themselves for these activities?
Okay, yes. First of all, I feel truly blessed to have experienced these moments of recognition in my compositional journey. My path in international competitions began when I submitted one of my works to the 4th International Composition Competition Jürgenson in Moscow. And to be honest, I sent it and then forgot about it. I was not expecting anything until the news that I had been selected as a finalist. In the end, the jury awarded my work with the first prize among 145 submissions from all over the world, and it was my first experience to international composition competitions. That experience encouraged me to continue, and over time it led to more than 35 international awards. But for me, these awards were never the final goal. I saw them more as something to help me, to keep me going on this journey, to work harder and to continue creating with even more dedication. My real goal has always been creation itself, because that journey never really ends.
So you use
This is
the contest as like a motivation to finish a piece, which is the real prize, right? To finish a piece.
Yes, to finish the piece is the real prize, and also another thing that I feel it is most important from the prize is to meet musicians from all over the world, to collaborate with ensembles and conductors, and to build an international community around the music. Through this process, my music became a shared language between people from different backgrounds, and that led naturally to new commissions, publications, and further artistic opportunities. As for my advice to young composers, I would say work hard, stay focused on the essence of creation, and search for your own artistic identity. Awards should never be the aim. They are the result of an effort, but it's not the aim.
It's great because we can see, actually, we can listen to your music, and we can perceive that you have a very unique sound and style, and it's clear that you did not write your music thinking about winning competitions.
Yes, of course.
The awards, they come as part of the process. But and it's important what you said, because some young composers, as they are like starting, and they also are thinking, how I'm going to pay my bills, and they start to get crazy about the style that they will adopt to write their music, and sometimes they kind of get lost.
Yes,
Right.
it's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I see the same on my students. On the first steps, they come to me and say, I would like to compose a piece to send it to a competition. And I say, it's not the point. The point is to find your own voice, to build your journey, and then one time you can send something, but it's not the goal to get a prize. It's not something the prize.
Yes, really. And well, I'm going to change a little bit about the subject, and ask you about your perspective on the compositional production in Greece and Europe, like the contemporary production in Greece especially. And as you mentioned during the beginning of our chat, you said that you were the first woman to be graduated in composition in Greece. So this is do you see that things have changed in the last few years, or do you still feel that is a very misogynist world, and that are still very hard for a woman to get in this world?
Yeah. In Greece, the prospects for compositional activity are unfortunately not matched by the opportunities for promoting contemporary music. There are now many young composers studying at Greek universities, boys and girls, and developing strong knowledge and experience, but there are still only very limited structures in place to support and present their work, apart from a small number of isolated concert opportunities. So the situation all that years, from the time that I completed my studies till now, it's not that something changed between that years, unfortunately. On the other hand, in Europe, the situation is much more encouraging because there is a broader and better organized network of ensembles and orchestras that actively engage with contemporary music. And this creates a much more supportive environment for composers, where it is easier to present one's work, to receive commissions. In Greek, it's very hard to get a commission. To collaborate with performers in Europe, to approach publisher, to feel artistically alive and creatively connected with other people. I wish to give the sense to say how important is to help contemporary music to grow in Greece, because many students are very talented and they need opportunities to give their voices, their musical voices.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. So we would like to talk a little bit about two of your pieces. Start with the Sirène de Monde Invisible. If you could speak about the process, and the audience will have the link for the pieces in the right below the interview, so they can listen to the piece. If you can talk about what inspired you to write this piece, and how was the process that you use math and astronomy, geometry, and extended techniques. So talk anything you want about the piece.
Thank you. This piece is inspired by the monologue Imagination Dead Imagine by Samuel Beckett. The music has a dramatic character and revolves around the aesthetic tone left by the meanings of the text. It combined with the characteristic of the transcendental world by transferring concepts, colors, and sounds to a dimension outside to the real and familiar to the human element, as expressed by Beckett himself in this text. I use extended compositional techniques that create a sound map that moves between two worlds, the world of imagination and the natural world. The main structural element is the use of timbre. There are static textures with clusters, in contrast to very strong and rhythmical and asymmetrical elements within improvisational patterns. Create an endless struggle of two worlds between matter and spirit, until to reach to a redemption. I use instrumental techniques. I use parts on this composition that Some parts is notated with in measures. Some parts is notated in patterns organized by seconds. So I would like to give a contrast between the freedom and the symmetrical thought. Now, on this piece, there are no Fibonacci numbers or something inspired by mathematics. All the concept is to use the timbre and to have some connections with the text of Samuel Beckett in my mind, like a symbol to my music language. The work commissioned by the Court Circuit Ensemble and performed the first time in Paris, September 2023.
Great.
Yeah, now
And
let me ask her one more question about this
sure.
piece. How do you experiment with timbres? Let's say a new timbre. You make some kind of laboratory with the musicians, or do you make electronic, mock-up?
First of all, I study very much about the instrumental techniques in order to have all the tools of timbres that I would like to use on the piece. And then I would like to orchestrate techniques of different instruments in a way in order to create new timbres. Sometimes if you close your eyes and just listen to the piece, you can't realize that it is a sound from physical instrument.
Yeah.
You imagine that is electronic sound. No, there is no electronic sound. I like to explore the use of elements inside the instruments, like the E-bow on the piano strings, or the use of super balls on the strings, or the use of super balls on the violoncello, the wooden side. So there are some small elements that give me the chance to explore more things on the instruments and then to use them on the piece.
Great. It's nice that what you said now, because I think the first impression that I had when I listened to your music, it was like sounds something electronic, but then you pay attention and you know that's not electronic, but there is this kind of mysterious sound, this kind of mysterious level of how you could get those sounds with kind of usual instruments, and that's fascinated me. Like,
Yes, thank you, thank you. I love this game to play with colors in a way in order to make the sound to give the sense of electronic sound, but all the sounds are from the physical instrument.
yeah, it's very very nice, very intriguing also. And now I would like you to talk a little bit about another piece that is the butterfly effect.
Yes.
Could you please?
Butterfly effect. The idea of this piece was inspired by the concept that small causes can have larger effects. And this concept was initially used in weather theories and is widely known as the butterfly effect. The randomness of the outcomes of throwing dice is based on the concept characteristic that small variation in initial conditions, the precise direction, thrust, and orientation of a throw are amplified in a manner that makes it possible to cast a die exactly in the same manner and with the same outcome twice. In this piece, the starting point was an attack from a small part of the orchestra, and then a motif of a percussion that led to a process through the appearance of the idea of butterfly effect. Small things can change the colors in orchestrations, the plot, thus leading to a differentiation in structure. This work, commissioned by Manifest Academy 2017 at TIRCAM and recorded by Radio France Philharmonic Orchestra with conductor Pierre-André Valade in Paris.
Great, thank you, Liduino.
So I think we arrived at the end of our program. I would like to ask if you want to leave a message to composers, especially to our composition students. And we thank you very much for the opportunity to talk with you. I had the opportunity to watch live the music of Lina, and she working with the musicians, which is a master class, right? So Lina, you can leave your final message, and then we
one thing that is very important for me is to say again to young composers to work hard in order to find their own voice in music. Do not imitate something. Composition is an amazing path, so explore it.
Thank you very much, Lina. It was a pleasure to have you here in our YouTube channel, our podcast.
Thank you so much.
Glad to meet you and hope we can listen to more to your music very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. We see everybody in the next program. Bye bye.